And you are now live.
Thank you, Aisha. Welcome everyone to this evening's FBS chat. And we've got lots of people tonight. It's normally only one guest, but we have, five? All from the solution-focused trainers. So John, Tara, Naomi, Stefan, and Jan, welcome. Thank you for spending your evening, or a bit of your evening with us. Hopefully not all the evening. And really, I guess to John, how did the solution-focused trainers come about? This wonderful band of people.
Yeah, so there's a little bit I need to explain to say where the whole thing came from, and then we'll bring in everyone else, each playing a critical role in solution focused trainers being what it is. So essentially, it's a training company that was formed and was established as a training centre with NCFE back in 2011, and it was formed by myself and Greg Vinicum. But our coming together, me and Greg, goes further back. Some years before that, the UK Association, so you'll know of the UK Association for Solution Focused Practice, had a number of people who are trainers, a lot of us doing introductory courses. And there is a move for a trainers network to be created. So that happened. So a whole bunch of us who trained, we met up and we supported each other. And one particular time we kind of looked around the room and we thought most of us are from the north. So why don't we call ourselves the Northern Collective? I think that was right, Jan. Yeah, we call us that. That's right. Yeah. And so we kept it going and within that group, so there are some names, people who know about solution focus will recognize. So there's Jan, who's with us tonight, Paul Hampton, who was in Leeds at the time, Brian Thornton from Sheffield, Greg Vinicum. So we carried on meeting, and we had the idea of being a mutually supportive group of trainers. So we took this collective a step further, came up with a name, got a website that was a bit of a platform for all of us at the time. And then it kind of moves on, because then Greg and I found we had a very, very particular affinity around wanting to offer externally validated training and solution focus, because at the time, lots of people were getting trained through introductory courses, but there are very few options for people to gain a qualification. And both of us will have this experience within any group of people you did an introductory course with. There would be some would say, is there somewhere I can get a qualification? Yeah. So we had discussions with the rest in the group and saying, look, this is what we want to do. What do others think? And Jan, my memory is that everyone said, well, you two go ahead, that's kind of your thing, So we forged ahead, and people were very gracious. And by then we had the solution focused trainers name. So the rest kindly agreed that we could use that as the badging of the training centre. Yeah, so off we went. Wow. So that's the kind of beginning. Me and Greg negotiating with NCFE and doing masses of document writing and designing the course, all sorts of things that you need to do to have an externally validated qualification.
And is it still one of the few, if not the only, externally validated SF training courses?
I don't know if it's the only necessarily, but certainly one of the few. So and then certainly the only one that NCFE externally validate.
And we got our certificate to prove it.
You actually have.
With the lovely Tara. So how did you end up with this motley crew, John?
Well, there we go then. So we start off with me and Greg. Now who come? Jan, you rejoined us a little later, but I think before then we've got Stefan joining us. We've got Naomi joining us. So which one of you two came along next, do you think? I'm not quite sure. I think it might have been Stefan, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, do you want to say something, Stefan, about how you ended up joining us?
I think I was introduced by Martin, and I think we met up at one of the UK SF conferences, maybe the Birmingham one, where I was introduced to you, and then I think it was quite a slow process, sort of getting involved. I'm glad I did. And of course, I've got the solution focused practice outdoors certificate, which certainly is very, very rare. Yeah. So yeah, all good.
Yeah. What's the outdoor certificate? Sorry if I missed something.
Oh, right. Adventure therapy, if you like, is my main interest. So counselling outdoors, if you like, with adventure thrown in, and nature as a co-therapist in a way, and solution focus provides the talking therapy. So you can just go outside for a chat, sit on a bench, but if you're going for a walk in the hills or around the forest, or you're working perhaps on the river, there's a way of having a solution focused conversation that fits in with the journey, and there are all sorts of pitfalls around that, do's and don'ts, safety concerns, little things that unless you were an outdoor practitioner you might not actually think of being really, really important. So for example, how far are you going to go? When you're walking and talking, you might only go at about 1 kilometer an hour. So, don't go too far. And also you might not want any hills, because it's like you can't breathe and talk and climb hills at the same time. So there's quite a lot of things to think about.
Yeah.
Wow. So,
really, it's really interesting.
We incorporated that into the certificate.
Brilliant. So, Jan, how did you come along?
I suppose I came along later, and sadly, as you're aware, sort of with Greg's death, there was a massive gap there within the Solution Focused Trainers organisation, and I was very privileged to be asked whether I would be willing to be part of the quality assurance element of it, which in those days was called internal verification, and nowadays it's got the grand title of IQA, and it's sort of the quality assurance element of it. So that's how it started off with me, just I suppose taking over some of the internal verification off John's shoulders as well, but I've never looked back, and it's been an absolute joy and privilege to meet all the rest of the team as well. So
Cool. So it sounds I mean, I love working with people, and admin is my oh god, it's a bit of a bugbear.
Yeah.
But every team needs a Jan, I guess, because I don't think I could do that, Jan. Yeah, John.
Yeah, if I could come in, because something Jan might not mention on her own behalf, but people who've been around in Solution Focused in the UK for a while will know of a master's course in Solution Focused that used to run in Birmingham. And so a lot of key people, whose names are well known, did that course. Jan did the course. So as well as as well as being someone who loves doing paperwork, Jan also has a master's in Solution Focus, so she absolutely knows the approach inside out.
It has to be said that I'm allergic to paperwork, but what I do really, really enjoy is the as I'm doing at the moment, the sort of reviewing practice and looking at the fantastic work that students put into the courses that they attend, which I've just been absolutely blown away. I mean, currently looking at one of John's courses, and some absolutely amazing, well, they're all amazing students in their own way, but each time I just, it's they say to verify, sort of up to 20% of the work, and I just get carried away, sort of wanting to watch everything, and have to sort of pull myself back from that. So that's the bit that I really enjoy. I don't particularly enjoy sort of them writing things up in a sort of correct way. But,
and like I guess, like we all know, every client teaches us something new, and I guess every delegate teaches us something new.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'd be with you. I'd probably look for it all as well, Jen. just to learn some new skills.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I could direct you, because Naomi's the next one who comes along. We've got the chronology sorted out now. Yes, we certainly have.
Okay. Naomi, how did you end up where you are, love? What attracted you to this bunch?
Oh, well, I think quite a lot of people have heard this, but it did start just with an email to Solution Focused Trainers when I was having a bit of an existential moment about being, I had quite a sort of senior national management role in shelter, which was an excellent role. But after a few years, I was like, I'd set up a couple of services and implemented Solution Focus, but of course, shelter has got lots of other strands of work. And I was like, I just want my whole working life to be Solution Focused. And the reason I came to that was because I sat alone one day and thought, what am I good at and what do I love? And I thought, I'm good at training and I love Solution Focus. So I put it in Google and up came Solution Focused Trainers. And then I sent an email to John and Greg. And when I sent the email, I realized and remembered I'd met them about 20 years ago when I'd been first discovered Solution Focus, and John and Greg replied with such warmth and professionalism about the possibilities of me both learning more Solution Focus and maybe being able to train, which I never dreamed. I just asked them for some help. So that was in a window really into, as well, the kind of company that there was possibilities to work alongside. So I was attracted instantly by that response. And then that went along further, and I met with, first of all, I met with Greg in Sheffield because he was training Tara's course. And I had an interview with Greg, a very informal but lovely interview. And I'll say something about the interview, which I think is a consistency between you, John, and Greg, even though you're quite different in some ways, is that you invite people to discover and explore their unique qualities and strengths, and you invite a discipline. And there's something about the simultaneousness of that for the last 6 years, I think it's 6 years of being involved, has really, for me, as a practitioner and a professional, enabled me to thrive with that really good boundary and yet that sort of curiosity about unique ideas. And I think hopefully we can impart that to students. So yeah, and then I met John after meeting Greg. And when I met John up in Newcastle, that was equally fascinating. And then came back to shadow Greg's day 5 once John and Greg had agreed that I was maybe an okay fit. And that's where I met Tara on the day 5. And there was only 4 people on your course, wasn't there, Tara? And I instantly, when I met Tara, I thought to myself, I'd love to work with her one day. And then as the year progressed, John, I trained child and adolescent mental health services in the 5-day. Which went fantastically after the first day of discovering. And then following doing that, went to EBTA, fell more in love with Solution Focus and Solution Focused Trainers. And there's something else that was significant about EBTA. Oh, and then Tara and I went to UKSFP and sort of Tara was joining the company and we were tentatively exploring the possibility of peer supervising and what we thought about the role. And we were meeting with Kidge in that UK conference. It was the one in Swansea, who was asking lots of questions about the company as a possibility to become involved. And that was interesting as well, because I feel like the thread of the company came through. I think you couldn't be there, could you, John? But came through Tara and I, and being really honest with Kidge, saying, well, it's a business model that's designed to support students and for you to thrive and learn with them and to reach as many people as possible. And sometimes that can be beneficial, but it's not like it's not designed to make lots of money necessarily. So it was a really lovely. And Kidge was really impressed, I think, by that honesty and the ethos and the assumptions and yeah.
Oh, need to give her a pay rise, John.
Absolutely.
Tara.
Yes.
Tara.
Oh, Joe.
Come on.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting, really, the sort of similarities between Naomi's and my sort of journey into solution focused trainers, and unbeknownst to ourselves, we were journeying towards the same place and ending up together. But yeah, I was a social worker and very fortunate to have a solution focused social work job, which was quite rare here in Bath, and absolutely loved it. But as often happens within social care, lots of services that are actually quite good and effective, they restructure and they change, and I really wanted to I felt very strongly about using the solution focused approach earlier in conversations, in particular with children and young people. So I was like, right, I'm leaving social care and I'm going to set up on my own. And I wanted to find a qualification that like the solution focused trainers course. So similarly, kind of went on Google, did a search and found solution focused trainers, and had a conversation with John. And as Naomi describes, it's so helpful, so encouraging. I remember sort of coming home and talking to my husband and going, oh my goodness, this is it. I've really found what I've been looking for. So I went up to Sheffield and did the training with Greg, and just fell in love with the course, and then met Naomi, and similarly was just like, I want to work with her too, and completed the course, and then quickly was asking John, please, can I deliver the course? I want to deliver the course here in Bath. And what I loved so much about it, and I think what was sort of significantly, I'd had really good SF training before, but what really stood out was the humility and the focus on assumptions, and it just really struck a chord with me, and really resonated with my values, and just in the way that John and Naomi and Jan, the way people work together, the way they work together in a solution focused way, so supportive. And I couldn't hope to work with a more compassionate, kind, group of people, really. And I just love delivering the course, and the more and more I do it, the feedback that we get, I've delivered day 3 of a course today, and just watching each time, even though I know the course so well, but each time just watching people fall in love more and more with the solution focused approach, because of the way that the course is written, is just an absolute pleasure.
Oh.
And I get to train lovely people like you two.
I know.
That was scary.
I mean,
so very experienced solution focused practitioners coming to do the course.
And
actually, we would never have met you, really, had it not been for Naomi.
Yes.
We fell in love with Naomi, and then Naomi made us fall in love with all of you.
We went to we spent a lovely night in Sheffield. First time we'd ever been there. And it's when we did the course, I think our claim to fame was, were we the first ones to do it remotely?
Yes, you were.
And it was just as great. It was, and that thing you said earlier about the assumptions, I think it can be tricky if you just think this is an approach that's just a list of questions. Whereas if we forget the assumptions behind it, we can get lost. And that's one of the things that stood out. The amount of reading you got me into because of that. Just for that 5-minute segment on the history of the solution focused approach, which was driving me nuts. Because I thought, how can I condense it into 5 minutes? So it just got me reading more and more. And it was it was a brilliant experience for me. And obviously, Aisha, you can speak for yourself, but
Well, you said it was driving you nuts. You were driving me nuts.
yeah.
I need a medal just for putting up with you.
Yeah. And we kept emailing Tara because if I didn't get a smiley face, or Aisha got a smiley face. It was just like a couple of kids, really.
To be very consistent with my smiley faces and then my stars.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the passion is obvious from all of you, and every time we speak to people in this kind of field of work, one thing that always comes through again and again is they could never go back to the way they used to work. Why is that for you guys? Why do you think that's so? That once you know this way of working, you can't just let it go like that.
Go on, John. You choose. Who answers this question?
John.
You're the co-host here.
God,
You can answer it or you can pass it on.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one, isn't it?
Ooh.
Well, I'll start. Okay, but any of us could reply, couldn't we? And I suppose really that's a clue to why all of us are with you tonight, and why it is us, because Greg and I have seen in the other folks here, that same sort of shift, that same sort of realization that as you say, once you work with people in a solution focused way, why would it make any sense to work in any other way? It's that sort of flip over, isn't it? And gosh, I feel in an impossible position of choosing. So who wants to go next? Put your hand up there. Who's ready? Yeah, Jan's going then.
Yeah. In some ways, I feel as though the solution focused approach sort of found me just at the right time, and so there wouldn't have been any going back, because once I'd discovered it, I became a nightmare. And I know that some people on sort of other courses that some of you have delivered have been in a similar position, that they've maybe even been on a person-centered training course or something at the same time as discovering solution focused. And that's what happened to me. I was on a person-centered training course, which wasn't a perfect fit for me. There was just something that was missing. And then one of the tutors himself, he was exploring solution-focused approaches. And so he did a module on it. And for me, that was just my aha moment. And I've talked about aha moments in my, John mentioned about when I was doing my dissertation for the MA. And, I think a number of us get those. And it certainly happened for me. I got that aha moment that this was the missing link. And so my practice changed fundamentally as a person-centered counsellor who was trying to sort of pass a course in person-centered counselling, and I kept getting told off by the truly person-centered sort of tutors, because I couldn't go back. I just could not go back. And so yeah, and I think I've picked that up with other people, that once they've got to that tipping point, that they've found that this is what fits for them, that it's really difficult to go back. You wouldn't want to.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Naomi. Oh, sorry, John. Who do you want next, John?
Well, I think I see Tara champing at the bit. Don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when I first started using the solution-focused approach, and just noticing the difference that it made to the young people, that just asking young people what they want, what their hopes are, and the difference. I think it's the response from the people that we're working with, and then being able to focus on them being experts in their own lives, and focusing on what they can do, not on what they can't do. And it's just like, well, then that sort of domino effect of just a really engaging and useful conversation that perhaps previously using more problem focused approach wouldn't necessarily have happened. So I think that's what just really excited me, and I was like, yes, this is what it's all about. This is what I've been looking for. And yeah, I think even every day now, when I have a conversation with a young person and see that their response to being asked what they want, and focusing on them as experts in their own lives, why would you want to do anything else, really?
Brilliant. Naomi?
Yeah, I mean, I can connect to what everybody's saying about it just making a difference. And yeah, why would you want to do anything else? It's so, and I think that word that we've all been using a lot recently is this about the agility that it gives you as well as a practitioner to respond to what's ever presented in that moment, from working with somebody who's suicidal and really depressed to like a young person who is coping with a bereavement and got autism and wants to dance around the room, and you just have these ways of being with those people in these really like sort of unique, what could be considered bizarre circumstances. And you're like, oh, so go on then, just tell me from over there, like what is it that you want again? What difference did that make? No way. You can just sort of, it gives you this framework that you can go to and that you can roll with, that is so deeply respectful and is so rooted in that fundamental trust in another human being to be their best and their unique themselves, and to be the expert, and that you together, and you can trust yourself because of that framework, and then you can trust the process. And if you really bring that to those moments, it's really powerful. And I think something that's happened for me in the last couple of years that's very special was training the management team in social care in Sheffield. And the management team were really already very dynamic and curious and proactive. They've already got signs of safety in the city. But there was still some sort of ideas about hierarchy and style and having to look really professional and be a particular way and helping people, particularly in as management. And I remember showing on the certificate course, showing the videos of Insu. I don't know if I've told you all this, Insu and Steve. And one of the students said, oh, well, I've been waiting to watch that since I heard about the course. I mean, he doesn't look very kind of professional, does he? He sort of looks like It sort of looks like he's mumbling, and Insta doesn't totally look like she knows what she's doing. And I said, this is the point. I said, it's not about them looking like they know what they're doing. It's about them, and again, we keep talking about it. It's about their humility and their desire to create a completely linear sort of power structure in those moments, so that they're there together and they're visibly thinking about the most useful question that they could ask, because that's the kindest thing they can do, because they want to be the best they can for that person who's shown up and come along. So that's, I think, and watching those practitioners make that shift. And now 2 of those practitioners are part of Curve Chats, and who knows where that's going to lead. So, yeah, really exciting.
Stefan.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm absolutely sold on it. I have been for, I don't know, over a decade or more, 15 years or something. But, I love that every session is an act of anarchy, sort of empowering someone to sort things out for themselves. And it's pretty much instantly liberating, because it's very good at generating hope. And when you add in, being outdoors and hanging off a rope or something, abseiling or paddling down a river or something, and you've got that tremendous engagement, and engagement is a great indicator of outcomes, really. So you can add in a meaningful conversation with all of that, and it just fits into a day-long session, and you can get such wonderful work done. And it's really I think I just get a buzz out of seeing people sort things out for themselves, just for a few well-aimed questions, if you like. So it's hard work listening, and the power of or the impact of a good question is tremendous. So it doesn't take that much energy, really, sort of emotionally as well, which you quite like. So don't like taking home grief from my work. Yeah, it just fits in, and I love that I can be out and ask someone a question and I don't get an answer, and I can say, well, let's visit it in another hour or another mile or something like that. You know, I'll ask you again. You know, have a think, and so it sort of fits in with that. You know, the mindfulness and the sunshine and the I call it co-adventuring for change. That's the
I love it. Yeah.
John
Sorry.
had his hand
Sorry,
up.
John.
It's all right. It's all right when Stefan's finished. Did you want to say a bit more, Stefan?
No, I think I was I was drawn up there. I can talk about it for hours, or even
we all can. Yeah, I just wanted to share.
Catch me later.
Yeah, okay. I mean, just today I was thinking about a family I'd worked with. It must have been in the first few days after my first introduction to Solution Focus. So one day training on a Friday, I'm sort of desperate to try it out on the Monday when I'm back at work, and so everyone I meet, you know, is hearing these questions, and I'm doing my best to be true to the assumptions and engage with them on that basis, you know, and. Yeah, and I don't think any of the others have heard this story before, but so as a family I've been working with for a little while, and mother, she was parenting on her own. She had two boys, one was 9, one was 8, and it's probably the week after I've been introduced to Solution Focus. So she came along with a 9-year-old, and she was kind of really distraught, and he was very embarrassed. Because she'd been banned from all the Tesco's in the northeast. Other shops are available, of course, you know. And what it was, let's say he's called Peter. That's not his real name, but Peter had, a number of vulnerabilities, and one was that he could be quite impulsive, and if he saw something on a supermarket shelf, he'd just shove it in his pocket. So on the basis of this, mother and son had been arrested for shoplifting. And suddenly, you know, she's kind of known all over the northeast, and, can't go into any more of these aforementioned shops, and she was distraught, didn't know what to do. He was really embarrassed. And really, something Stefan was saying there, the joy of inviting people to find their own solutions, trusting people to know what could work for them, and putting the power, back where it, belongs, inviting people to be in charge of their own lives. So Peter was kind of distraught by this. So a quite simple question. I'm sort of saying to him, well, next time you're in a shop with your mum and, your hands feel like, taking something, I wonder what else you could do different with your hands. And he stopped and he thought, he said, I could collect bus tickets. And it takes a 9-year-old to come up with that sort of solution. And here now I'm working in child mental health, so in none of my textbooks does it say that collecting bus tickets is a solution to this problem. It's uniquely created by him, And lo and behold, next time we meet, not only does he have a lot of bus tickets, he has a lot of till receipts as well. And bus drivers are happy to give him bus tickets, and checkout assistants from other shops are happy to give him till receipts. And that was the end of it. He just never did it anymore. And it's so simple. But he came up with it. None of us could have thought of that, but trusting him to be able to, and it's that placing trust in people to manage their lives as well as they can, and be expert and knowledgeable about what would work best and so on. So some of there's a
Joe.
Yes.
I think we're going to play a little game.
Oh, she's thinking.
I know it hurts. It's really hurting. But you and I really benefited from the training.
Yeah.
And everyone here is very skilled, very experienced, and we love them all. So I think maybe they should ask us some questions as to our experience of being trained, so we can promote how brilliant it is. Because there's no point in them saying, yeah, it's really good, because I don't know. Like, people won't believe them because they're delivering. But we've actually completed it. We've done it with lots of gold stars. Lots of gold stars.
Me more than you.
Which was an extra from Tara.
You all had the same.
Seriously, really? Yeah, Tara said we had the same, so we had the same. So maybe they can ask us some questions about our experience, what we learned, how it benefited our practice, because we didn't go into it completely fresh from SF, but actually it still benefited us.
Yeah.
So the floor is you guys. Ask us some questions.
So what's your solution-focused superpower?
Oh. I
hold on a minute. I didn't expect that. Okay, go on, Joe. You go. John.
No, I think it's good having a bank of questions, but we have to really.
Joe, you've gone.
Have I? Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I one thing I've found working with this approach is how much better at listening I am, and I thought I was a good listener before helping, because I wasn't always in the helping field. Do you know what I mean? I've done so many different jobs, but listening, because I don't know what question I'm going to ask until I've listened to what the client said, and so I think my listening has improved immensely, and even in listening for those little bits, those little nuggets that we can hold on to, and she was just keeping it in the brain somewhere, just so that I could come to it. And it might not be straight away, I might bring it in later, but I've learned this kind of, this listening has been really, my wife would disagree. But I hope my clients would say, do you know what, I felt like you heard what I was saying. And I think that's really, really important. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. And when we first, what's your superpower?
Joe, you've had to choose. Go on, John.
Yeah, well, we need to.
What's your superpower?
Superpower first, yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah. So you next, and then I've got a question.
We don't have time for both of us to answer. So the next question I'll answer.
Superpower. Stop
My
stalling.
superpower is me being me.
That's not good enough.
No, right. So for me, through the training, I actually discovered, because when Tara set us a task to look at the history of solution focus and really delving deep, the first thing I said was, but we don't need to know the history. We just need to know where we're going. And I think I actually said that to Tara. I was like, I'm doing it because you're telling me to do it. But other than Joe annoying me, I actually really enjoyed it. And I realized that actually it really does shape the way that you do practice, because you believe in it a lot more, because you know the effort, the time, the experiences, everything that's gone into it. So part of my superpower is actually to be a bit more open-minded about going back and learning about the history. And I wasn't open to doing that when Tara said. I was a bit like Kevin and Perry, like, fine, do I have to do it? But actually, I did enjoy it.
Yeah. So I've got a question for both of you, because my guess is that the first you got to hear of solution focused trainers would be when you came up to Sheffield for the workshop that Naomi was hosting, and I wonder what it was you kind of glimpsed about solution focused trainers that had you going as far as then applying to do the certificate.
Well, Naomi has this superpower of being really, really, really lovely. But what she did without realizing is she was like giving us a choice, but wasn't really giving us a choice. Like, you'd be so good at this. You need to do this. It would be such a waste if you didn't. And Kidge in London has this open, and you can do it, but you have a choice. You know, it was that sort of a conversation. So actually, Naomi's superpower and, you know, her smile and, you know, the emails going back of, don't worry, you got it. Yeah, you can do it. Oh, no, COVID. Don't worry, Tara. There's no excuse. You're not backing down. You're doing this. That's what it was. And she kind of sold us. I loved Solution Focus before Sheffield, but after Sheffield, I fell in love with it all over again. And, you know, the actual training was incredible, but Naomi's passion, it was just, you could physically feel the passion. And we all walked away going, I love Naomi. No, I love Naomi. I love her more. I love her more. It was one of those ones. So when she kind of indirectly forced us to do it, it did work. The superpower did work. So whatever you guys are doing, or if it comes naturally to you, Naomi, keep doing it. Beat that, Joe.
She sucked us in, John, basically, with her charm.
Yeah. That's why we like her.
I had no idea I was such a hard saleswoman.
Well, because you gave us that element.
I just want to mention in connection to that, and also is Hannah Laurie Volkart, who was training who came over, and she, you know, her training on autism and solution focus was utterly inspiring, and that was part of, you know, and that comes from the sort of vision of the company and the way that you're all so agile, and you coming up with the idea of a follow-up day model, John, and then that's inspired, you know, Tara's had guests, like you've had guests from all over the country coming down to Bath, and you stuff, you know, it's created such a vision that is enabled to be created, that then meant that we could engage with you. And I think you know, and the success of those events that, you know, you've come to Sheffield for, haven't you, Tara? You've come all that way from Bath, and we've sort of been there together with John Hendon, and, you know, really benefiting from this model that you created. And I think that's been really powerful. But and also you, Joe and Aisha, when you came on that day, what struck me and strikes me almost weekly about you, and especially now the company, how you are so yourselves. And you are so relentlessly inspiring without any level of attention, and you just fell in love with it. You said you fell in love with it. You worked really hard, and now you're naturally creating these ripple effects with the generosity and the kindness of a million things, and Facebook chats being one of them, which is sharing knowledge and connecting to all the other people that are doing similar things like Bieber and Alvin Dominic, and it's just wonderful. So I'd love to hear. Go on.
It's okay. I mean, I've got a question to bring.
But John, I've got a question for them too.
Oh, go on, you, Tara.
John, just very quickly.
Oh no,
I'm just quickly going to say something. I actually, John, I wasn't enjoying Tara's training until you and Naomi came along, though, as guest speakers.
Yeah.
I was going to say something nice.
Stefan and John, you should have seen it. Joe and I were like, thank God. No, honestly, it was the best experience I can say of my life in terms of training, because I did have a lot of light bulb moments. And at first, I'm not going to lie, I was like, God, Joe, come on, but we already know the approach, and everyone else on here doesn't. Like, what's happening here? But I got so much out of it. I don't care how long you've been practicing SF. You got to do this. And even if you're a virgin to SF, please, you got to really look into this, because it is absolutely fantastic. No matter who you're trained with, everyone is so brilliant. And it's a family. And we're quite lucky and privileged to feel part of that family.
I'll just say one more thing about
now you can ask your question.
Oh, one more thing about Jan and Stefan as well. When we come to the reason the course has got this quality is what happens when we all come together.
Yeah.
And the confidence that Jan gave me as my moderator at times when a few things were really challenging, and you just held me through that process, and your skills in IQA and your creativity, Stefan. So I just want to add that's why it's like it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and to build on that, because we haven't obviously been able to do it this year because of COVID, but John sort of set up over the past few years that we have a standardization day, and we sort of meet in Sheffield. It's a good kind of midpoint for all of us, and spend the day together and have a meal together in the evening. And it's just one of the most occasions that I look forward to so much, because of the opportunity to share our experiences of delivering the course, to share ideas, to learn from each other, to support each other. So just as Naomi says, everybody's contribution and skills, and it is a family. It does really feel like that. Yeah. Oh, which you're part of too, Aisha and Joe.
Yeah. We like the pets.
So I still have one more question, which is for Joe and Aisha. Because for yourself, Aisha, it wasn't your natural inclination to look at the history of this approach. You had to be, required to do it, shall we say? Both of you had to do that 5-minute presentation, and it really took some doing. Both of you had to do a lot of hard work, to pass the course. And I'm wondering what it was, about Tara's way of running the course, the way the course was itself, kind of whatever, that got you to the point where I was able to post off those wonderful certificates to you.
You know what? Tara's delivery is so wonderful that you can't say no to her, John. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like what we were saying about Naomi earlier. It's like, I can't disappoint her, because she's asked me to do it in such a nice way that I've got to do it. I'll do it. I'll do it for Tara. I wouldn't do it for anyone else. But
he continues to say that. I don't do it for Tara. Shut up.
But as I read into it, I found myself looking for other bits of information, and then looking at the back of the books and thinking, "Oh, that sounds like an interesting read. I'll go to that bit," and it snowballed. That little one small change can lead to. That's kind of how it felt. And I'm reading all sorts of things now. Hope Theory is one book that I'm reading, which is really fascinating, because we were talking about hope earlier and how important that is. I couldn't say no to Tara, as annoying as she was. No, she wasn't annoying.
And so I was just going to say as well, I think each of us could probably say every time, people say, particularly there's, a big number of people on the course. I mean, we don't have any more than 8, but when everyone's doing the presentation of the history, but every single time you learn something new. It's fascinating. You learn so much. It's such a two-way, and I mean the depth of detail that Joe and Aisha and everybody on that course, but the amount of work that you put in to the presentations, and the amount that I learned from you was just it's amazing.
I think for me, kind of, I was a bit like grumpy. But then we had our own WhatsApp group, because we wanted to support each other, because it was online. We created a WhatsApp group. So I started to do a bit of research for them, for everyone else. Obviously for myself as well, because I had to do it, but not willingly. And then because we were meeting, via Zoom twice a week, we started having this discussion for, actually, this is getting a bit interesting here. So I started doing a bit more research. Then I stole some research from Joe, because that's what I do. And then he would read a book, and then I said, summarize it. So he'd summarize it. And then I'd be typing as he's summarizing. At least I'm honest. That's what I was. But then I found myself actually picking up books and reading it. And I thought, God, this is so good. That despite all of this happening, how did he still carry on? And it was like a story rather than research. It was absolutely fascinating. And it was lovely to kind of do the presentation knowing that I wasn't just reading off the PowerPoint. I actually knew it. I actually knew it. It was embedded in my head, and I actually knew it. And Joe and I would kind of talk about it quite a lot, but not because Tara asked us to do the presentation, because we actually found it really fascinating. So from being a grumpy 12-year-old, I started to really appreciate it. And it actually did influence my practice, and it still does influence my practice today.
Yeah. How was that as an answer, John? Was that all right?
Oh, super. Yeah, and I can well imagine, if Greg was here, he would be saying to me that this is exactly what we hoped for, wasn't it? That it's a course that, in a sense, as we're encouraging people to find their way out, their own way with this approach. That takes advantage of their strengths, their passions, their interests, and so on. The uniqueness of what they can bring to it, and depending on where they work, the situations in which they they have the conversations. So that yes, Greg would be delighted to,
It was
to hear you
actually at
saying
one
that.
point. I just thought about it. It actually felt like I was putting a family tree together. This literally just dawned on me as I was talking. It really did. Who's connected to who? How did they meet? When did this happen? And then what was born through that? It really did feel like a family tree. Oh, actually, yeah, it did. It was like a family tree for me. And I think that's how I made sense of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. There is so much we could talk about, but I know I can. I share this with with Naomi, Tara, Stefan, and Jan. That the presentations. I mean, all the rest is always fascinating, but the presentations, my goodness, each one is a fascination. And I think as Jan knows, someone who's just recently done the course with me, exactly did it as a family tree, funny enough, with post-its. And the imagination and creativity that people bring to this course, and thinking, Stefan, someone who did your course, did a quiz, didn't they? With cards. They made all these cards, which for the different characters. So there's loads of different ways people have done these presentations.
So how many? So is all the training still currently online?
Yes.
Yeah, certainly.
Right, and so if people are listening to this, and I know I'm going to share it lots more times, but if people are interested in looking into being trained by you guys, the fantastic 1, 2, 3, 4, the fantastic 4, how could they get in contact with you? Who would they turn to?
Well, they'll go to this website that's nicely scrolling along the bottom here. You will find dates for the new year. We have dates for a number of courses by all of us. And there's a contact page, so contact us. And then in no time at all, there'll be a reply from Naomi.
Oh yes. At one point, I was emailing on Solution Focus Trainers. And it's Naomi. So Jason and Matt have been booked on for January. Because I just felt anyone that walks through these doors and works with us where we can needs to be trained. You can't not do it, because it does make such a big difference in your practice, and not just to your practice, but then it makes a massive difference to our clients. And we can really see that difference.
And it's interesting because we was talking to Paul Z. Jackson the other day, and one thing he said, it sort of stuck in my head, but I never really sort of took it any further. And what he was saying was that whereas practitioners, we always view the client in the role of expert, we don't really promote our own expertise enough. Do you think that's a bit of a downfall for us as practitioners in that sense? So I mean, obviously, having accreditation from you guys is brilliant, because at least we can say we're accredited practitioners. But I don't know whether whether it's something you think that we've lacked, sort of not highlighting the expertise of us as practitioners.
Go on, John.
No, go on, Tara.
You go.
You're ready.
Well, I was just going to say that actually, I think it is important to, we've got a job to do, And I think it's really about co-creating, working together with people. And and I think that's definitely, having done the microanalysis course of Althea Dominic and thinking more about that and observing that within sort of our own practice, which, Naomi and I have had quite a lot of discussions about, and she's been a part of that course as well. I think more and more it's actually, it's obviously really important to see people as experts in their own lives, but we're working, alongside them and co-creating in our conversations with them. So that would be kind of how I would view it. And we've definitely got a big part to play in it.
Yeah, and if I could dive in there then. So again, going back to why Greg and I set up this course in the first place, it was through a belief that if we could give people an intensive learning experience, and granted that's hard work, but hopefully it's hard work and fun and fascinating, they would become the best they can be, in the time we're with them. And then Naomi was mentioning follow-up sessions. We're also ambitious to hold on to people through the follow-up sessions so they get even better. So that's very much about bringing skill, bringing a deep understanding of how this approach can work. And a creativity and a confidence to use it, in whatever situations they find themselves. So Paul's point is a very important one.
I don't think I'm sorry, Joe.
No, carry on.
As a team, and I hope some people aren't listening. But it's very, very difficult to find a team of practitioners working together. And I think Joe and I are quite proud of our charity and our team, because we all work very, very hard, and we all work over and above, and we are our family. We really are family. But it's just so nice to be able to say that you guys are also the same, because you're always complimenting each other. You're always supporting each other, and it's not just about you, but it's also about your delegates. It's about the people that's the ripple effect of that, and it's looking at your own practice, whether it be in your private practice or whether it be working with other trainers, and how can we improve to deliver this in a way that will be useful to the current people that we're training. And I think that's so important. So it's quite nice to see. It's nice to, and we knew this anyway as soon as we met Naomi. If Naomi gives it the stamp of approval, we're on it. But actually to experience it, we were grieving when it had ended. Because we never had Tara bossing us around. No, she never bossed us around.
You were bossing me around.
That's true, we were. But it's just so nice to see, because you don't often see that. Why do you think you guys are so good together as practitioners, as colleagues, as friends?
I'm thinking kindness.
Compassion, I was going to say.
Yeah, and I've been very struck that we share in common with each other the values that are actually critical to the solution-focused approach, and we're different from each other, and we gain from that difference that we bring to our discussions with each other. It began with me thinking that if I designed a course for Greg, it'd be better than anything either of us could have created on our own. We're more than the sum of the parts, to quote that, and that's carried on. We are more than the sum of our parts because of the way we can pull who we are and our resources individually.
What about you, Stefan? Sorry, Stefan and Jen. Stefan, why do you think you guys why do you think I'm complimenting the way that you guys work together and are partners in this?
Because you're nice to us.
Yeah. And what else?
I think for me as well, it is that embodiment of the solution-focused principles, and I always see that with all of you. That when you're delivering something, you're not teaching, you're just being. solution focused as a trainer, and so it's a sort of an osmotic process that students are sort of taking it on as they're sort of sitting there. You're just absorbing solution focused. It's not you're being taught how to do a scaling question, then you're going to be taught how to do this. It's just being in that sort of environment, and it's just, I don't know, it's just so lovely.
Joe?
That's one. I was just going to say that what Jan was saying about, when you get those teachers from when you were younger, the ones that were passionate about what their subject was, and even if you weren't interested in the subject, they had you hooked and fascinated and wanting to learn more. And that's kind of, again, what I feel from your group. Otherwise, you're just standing there and it's rote learning, isn't it? God, when you had to sit there and do your times tables, how painful was that? But when there's a genuine passion and love for what you're doing, it makes so much difference, and that's what I get from you guys.
Yeah, we experienced it, didn't we, with everybody, and I think it's definitely a life-changing training. I think even if you're not in a professional field, it's so good for yourself as a human being. You don't have to be working with children and families or whichever field. I think everybody, especially social workers, teachers, all key workers, it should just be an automatic training that should be offered to absolutely everybody, which is, and it is quite addictive. I'm on the next phase. Joe hasn't started yet, by the way, Tara.
Oh my God, Tara!
I'm on 77 hours.
Well, that's it. You're done.
That's enough.
You're done. Joe,
And I can keep going.
To you tomorrow.
Yeah, I can keep going. I can keep going. And I said to Joe, once I do mine, do you want me to start yours for you? Because all I have to do is look on the calendar, put it in.
Oh,
But I'm done.
You're done.
That clap is for me.
Yeah, so I look forward to sending another certificate.
Yeah, and I just, Naomi sort of made reference to you guys earlier, and I just want to say your energy and, to have you on the course was a complete and utter pleasure, and also your humility, because you're really experienced practitioners, and what you brought, to people who were on the course that were new to it. You were so respectful of them, so giving of your time, the amount of support that you gave to them, and inviting them to be a part of the FBS and come and do sessions. And I mean, it was so much that you did. It was and continue to do, and your contribution to the whole SF community and to solution focused trainers is just wonderful. And we're very happy to have you in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, and guys, if you
with a smiley face on it.
I'll send her a star, massive star. But while you guys are running the training, if you ever wanted us to support, because we obviously got a certificate now, and I've done my 77 hours. If you ever wanted us to support and kind of have a chat about our experience of being trained, just let us know. No problem. We'd love you, I'm sure, to come and do some follow-up training for us that you can do. Yeah. No problem whatsoever. But everybody that's listening and everyone that's going to listen when it's on YouTube and when I share the S out of it, I can't swear because John's here later on. I have a lot of respect for John. Please even just log on to the website and just take a look. It's free to have a look. But please do get in touch with any one of us, including Joe and I, for to answer as many questions as we possibly can, and we will direct you, because it is one of those training. The courses is a life changer. Despite having to do a presentation, I did it and I learned a lot from it. and you can never know everything. You're always learning. So please do get in touch with them. They are all brilliant, brilliant people, and we are so lucky to know you all. Yeah, that's great. So I will be sending in my next. I say I can't send my next piece in until Joe does his. See, that's how it works. Tara knows that.
Yeah.
So if it's not sent in within a couple of weeks, John, you need to email Joe.
I will. I'll email Joe tomorrow.
Yeah, just email.
I knew you'd have my back, Tara.
She's going to email
Don't
you
worry.
to tell you off.
Yeah,
I would never tell Joe off.
guys, it's been.
Favoritism, John. This happened all the way through. I want to put in a complaint. All the way. Right. Go on, Joe, and then we've got to close.
I was just going to say again, thank you so much, guys. We've done a lot of these chats and have all been wonderful, fascinating, and lovely. And I'm sure people looking in thinking, can they really be that nice? Well, they are. They're really that nice. And, so thank you so much for your time, guys. It was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank
you for the
you.
opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
You're all great. Can I ask that you all remain there? And we'll have a quick chat afterwards. And for everyone else, we will see you tomorrow with Mark McCurgo.
Oh, yes.
Will be joining us tomorrow at 6 p.m. And if it's not 6 p.m., don't give me a dirty look. Don't know. But I think it's 6 p.m. With a co-host. So see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.